Hi, I'm Steve Siegel, a solution engineer at Snowflake. In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating the Snowflake Excel Addin. This add-in allows users to pull data from Snowflake into Excel so it can be analyzed and updated. Those updates can then be pushed back into Snowflake. So let's get started. You'll notice a new group within the ribbon called Snowflake. I'm going to click on the Connect button, which is going to bring up a connection dialog with all the information that I need to create a connection into Snowflake. Single sign-on is supported, and in this demonstration, I am going to use the user ID and password. So I'm going to enter my password, and now I'm going to be authenticated into Snowflake. Once authenticated, I could pull data from Snowflake by clicking on the query button. You'll see a search dialog has appeared, and this allows me to pull data from any database, any schema, and any table that I have authorization for. So I'm going to pull contacts information from the contacts table. I get to choose which columns I want to pull. If I wanted to select all the columns, I click on the All button, and you'll see a select star SQL statement that was created. But if I'd rather only choose a subset of the columns, I can click on the Choose button, which will allow me to select only some of the columns. And as you can see, the select statement was updated with those columns that I selected. For this example, I'm going to stick with all. And if you like this query and you think you're going to be executing it again, you can save it as a saved search and rename it to, let's just say, all, since we're pulling back all of the contacts. You can then execute the SQL statement, and it pulls back all of the information into an actual Excel table. And you can use this Excel table just like any other Excel table where you could sort it and further filter it down. But if I didn't want to pull all of the rows from this table, let's just say I wanted to pull only the people that lived in Texas, I could then modify the select statement with a where clause and say where state equals TX for Texas, and I could save this as well, rename it to, let's just say, Texas. And if I know I was going to do this for a few states, I could maybe do one for Ohio, save that as well, and rename that to Ohio. And now I have 3 different SQL statements that are available, and I could, if I chose Texas and executed Texas, what you'll see is that only data from Texas was pulled down. But in this example, I'm going to choose all, get all the data. And I know that some of these contacts, the information is not correct. So some of the email addresses have been bouncing back when we contact them. What I found out was that James Burton, his email address was actually changed to just be jb@gmail.com. So I'm changing that here within Excel. As well, I want to add a new contact. So I will insert a row and add the necessary information for that contact. And now I want Snowflake updated with the information that I just updated here in this spreadsheet. So now I would come to the Upload button, click on Upload, and I'm going to select Update Existing Rows and Append any new rows. So because I updated rows and I appended rows, I want those changes to be reflected in the table. And the table is going to be the contacts table that's already selected. And now when I click Upload, this data is going to be uploaded to Snowflake. All the data is going to be changed to reflect what's here. And when complete, it's going to ask me to refresh the data from the table. So I refresh the data, and you can see that my new contact is there. The contact information for James Burton has been updated. So it's been updated successfully. But if I realize, oh, you know what, I didn't actually want to make this change, we have a button here called Rollback, and Rollback uses Snowflake's time travel functionality. So when I click on Rollback, it's now going to roll back that last transaction that I just performed to the date to what it was prior. So now, as you can see, the new row that I added is gone, and James Burton has his original email address. Now, if I wanted to add a new column, I can do that as well. So I know that some of these contacts aren't active anymore. They're inactive. So I could create a new column. Let's call it a status column. And I will make all the users active. And I can make one user inactive. Now, in order to upload this, what I could do is I could define the data type of the new column. So as you see, there's a drop down now that has all the data types that Snowflake supports. In this case, it's a text that I know. So I'm going to come back to upload. And just like before, I'm going to upload all the data back into the contacts table. So it's going to update anything I've updated, add any new rows. And in this case, it's going to detect that there's a new column, and it's going to add that new column. I'm going to now search the contacts table, pull the data back so we can see that it actually added that new column. We could also add a new table to Snowflake using data from within Excel. So I'm going to copy a subset of this data and create a new worksheet and paste that data into the worksheet. Now what I want to do is upload this data and create a new table. So I click on the upload button and it brings me that same upload dialog, but this time I'm going to select the create new table, then upload. And I'm going to call it contacts 2. And you'll notice that I didn't define the data types for these new columns. So instead, I'm going to use the Autogenerate data types feature by selecting this checkbox and then upload. So now Snowflake is going to look at every column. Based on the data that's there, it's going to determine the appropriate data types, and it's going to create a table with those new columns. I'm going to refresh the data from Snowflake, and as you can see, the data returned successfully, so there's a new table called contacts 2. And the last feature I'd like to demonstrate is the ability to create a new sheet and have that sheet act independently of all other sheets as far as the saved searches are concerned. So for instance, I'm adding a new sheet and I'm calling it programs because I know that I want to search the programs table. So I'm going to click on query and you'll see that I have no saved searches even though I added saved searches before. I'm going to select the programs table now, select all the rows and save this as, call it programs all. So now I have a programs all saved search for this worksheet. But if I come over to the contacts worksheet, I still have all of the saved searches for the contacts. And this allows me to manage multiple tables within a single workbook and have all these tables have the SQL that I've created for them completely independent. Well, that wraps up this demo. I hope you found it informative, and thank you very much for watching.